Welcome to Learn and Success, the channel where English learning meets personal growth. In today's episode, we're diving into a powerful idea, rewiring your brain for English fluency. Discover how changing your mindset, habits, and daily practice can help you think, speak, and live in English naturally. This isn't just about learning, it's about training your brain for long-term fluency. Let's reprogram your mind for confident English speaking only on Learn and Success.
Exactly. Our mission here is really to cut through some of that frustration. We want to give you practical insights, some powerful tips, and, a clear plan. We're drawing on the latest understanding of language acquisition neuroplasticity, basically giving you a shortcut to knowing how your brain learns best.
Yeah, we've looked at some fascinating expert sources, really boiled them down for you. Okay, let's unpack this. So, to kick things off, the big question. What does it actually mean to rewire your brain for English? It sounds maybe a bit sci-fi, doesn't it?
It does sound dramatic, but it's much more biological reality than science fiction. Rewiring isn't just a cool metaphor. It means your brain is physically changing how it works. Think of it like literally building new roads or pathways in your brain, new connections for thinking, understanding, and actually using English. And the really exciting part is this thing called neuroplasticity. It's not just some jargon. It's the brain's incredible ability to reorganize itself, form new connections, strengthen old ones all throughout your life, especially when you challenge it, like with learning a language.
Okay, so not just metaphorical roads, but actual physical changes. That makes it more tangible. So it's a bit like building muscle at the gym then. You work out consistently, the muscle gets stronger. Is the brain doing something similar?
That's a great analogy.
Yeah.
Exactly. When you consistently practice English, you are literally strengthening those new neural connections. Your brain starts to prioritize the pathways you use most. See, when you think in your native language, your brain uses these super efficient, well-worn paths. But when you start trying to think or speak in English, your brain has to forge new paths. And that initial feeling of slowness or maybe difficulty, that's not you failing. That's just the feeling of your brain building those new circuits.
Right, it's effortful.
It is. It's the effort of strengthening connections that maybe weren't there before, were very weak. And listeners should know, feeling shy, forgetting words, that just means those new pathways are still, under construction. They need more regular traffic to become automatic.
That makes so much sense. Okay, so if our brains are this adaptable, this plastic, why does learning English often feel so incredibly hard, even frustrating? This is where it gets really interesting, I think.
Yeah, and that feeling, it's completely normal. It really comes down to a few things. First, our brains are, they're kind of efficient, maybe even a bit lazy. They prefer sticking with what they know, what's easy. If your first language is very different from English structurally, sound-wise, your brain has to work much harder. It's building new grammar maps, learning totally new sounds, different ways of thinking. It resists that extra effort.
The path of least resistance.
Exactly. And then there's a huge one.
Yeah.
Fear. The fear of making mistakes, sounding silly, maybe not being understood. It's a powerful block for so many people.
Oh, definitely. But the counterintuitive thing and what our sources really highlight is that mistakes aren't just okay. They're actually essential. They're like crucial data points for your brain, showing it where it needs to adjust and strengthen those pathways it's building. They're not failures at all. They're signposts.
Precisely. Mistakes mean you're trying, you're pushing. And beyond fear, there are certain habits that really get in the way. One of the biggest culprits, that habit of mentally translating everything from your native language before you speak English.
The constant translation trap.
Right. It just slows everything down. It forces your brain into this detour instead of building those direct English pathways. And another thing is simply not using it enough in real life. If English stays in the textbook, your brain doesn't get the practice it needs to make those connections solid. So feeling like it's hard, it's not about being bad at English. It's usually a sign your brain is still in that active rewiring phase. It just needs more practice, patience, and crucially, the right kinds of habits.
Okay, that's a perfect lead-in. Let's talk about the power of habits, how they are basically the building blocks for this whole rewiring process.
Absolutely. Habits are, at their core, automatic actions. They save your brain energy because it doesn't have to consciously decide every little thing. When it comes to language, repetition creates these incredibly useful shortcuts. The more you do something consistently, say a phrase, listen every day, even just think a simple thought in English, Chamushki, the more automatic it becomes.
Yeah.
Faster, less effort. That's how those new neural pathways get strong and efficient.
Right. So like you said, that phrase, how are you? At first, maybe it feels slow, clunky even. You're consciously grabbing the words. But do it enough times and your brain just does it without you thinking. That's the habit kicking in. That's the rewiring. And the great thing is it doesn't have to be hours a day, does it? Small habits can make a big difference.
A huge difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, the research really backs this up. Even just 10 or 15 minutes of focused, consistent daily practice can be incredibly effective for rewiring. It's all about that cumulative effect.
Yeah.
And this also means being mindful of, well, the bad habits, like that constant translation thing we mentioned. If you keep doing that, your brain gets really good at translating.
Right. Not necessarily at thinking in English.
Exactly. So the counter habit is to consciously start thinking simple thoughts directly in English. Things like, I'm hungry, or it's sunny today, or need more coffee. Just small internal thoughts. And really practical way to build this is integrating English into daily routines, like when you're cooking.
Yeah.
Mentally or even quietly say the names of ingredients. Garlic, onion, chicken. Or narrate your actions. I'm chopping, I'm stirring. It weaves English into your life.
That's really clever. Simple, but it builds those direct connections without feeling like studying.
And it's important to remember, habits take a bit of time to stick, usually around, 21 to 30 days of consistent effort. So patience is key. Don't give up after a week.
Right. That initial friction is normal. But you're saying once the habit starts forming, the brain actually helps you out.
It does. It starts to feel more natural, less effortful. That's the brain rewiring itself for efficiency. It likes the new shortcut.
Okay, so we understand the why and the how, neuroplasticity, habits. Now let's get really practical. What are some simple daily practices people can start right now to build those English brain roads? And the key word here seems to be consistency, right? Not necessarily intensity.
Absolutely. Consistency trumps intensity most times.
Mm.
So first up, it might sound basic, but make listening to English a daily thing. Aim for maybe 30 minutes. And this doesn't have to be intense, focused listening all the time.
Right, you can multitask, like listen while you're cooking, driving, walking the dog, cleaning. Podcasts are great for this, like this one, or English TV shows, music.
Exactly. It's about surrounding your ears with the sounds, the rhythms, the intonation of English. Even passive listening helps train your brain to recognize those patterns. It lays a foundation.
Got it. So, ears first. What's next?
Next, and this is crucial, speaking out loud. Even if you're alone, a lot of learners skip this because they feel awkward or don't have a partner. But you need to practice the physical act of speaking. Talk to yourself. Describe what you're doing. Okay, now I'm making coffee. Talk about your day. Repeat sentences you hear.
It does feel a bit strange at first, I admit. I remember trying to practice French sounds in the car felt ridiculous. But you're saying it actually works.
It absolutely works. It's training your mouth, your tongue, your brain to produce the sounds and form the sentences. It builds those motor pathways for speech. You move from just thinking to actually speaking.
Okay, makes sense. And number 3?
Use English in simple ways in your actual life. You don't always need a conversation. Try labeling things around your house. Put a sticky note saying table on your table. Write short notes or reminders to yourself in English.
Oh, I like that.
In-
Integrating it into your environment.
Yes. It makes English less of an abstract subject and more of a real living tool. It helps your brain form stronger, more relevant connections. Fourth, try reading out loud, just a short article, a paragraph from a book. Reading it aloud connects the visual word to the sound and the act of speaking it.
Good one. Bridges the gap. And fifth?
Maybe try journaling a little in English. Doesn't have to be long. Just a few sentences each day about your thoughts, feelings, what you did. It gets you comfortable with expressing yourself in writing and thinking about sentence structure.
Okay, so let's recap those. Listening daily, speaking out loud, even alone, using English in real life, labeling, notes, reading out loud, and journaling. Simple stuff, but done consistently.
That's where the magic happens. That's the rewiring in action.
So what does this all mean for you, the listener, right now? We've talked practices, but there's another piece of the puzzle, isn't there? Something equally important, your mindset.
Oh, absolutely crucial. How you think about learning English has a massive impact. Your internal chat, what you tell yourself, it can either really help you grow or totally block you. Like if you're constantly thinking, I'm just not good at English, guess what? Your brain kind of listens. It looks for evidence to prove you right. It makes learning harder.
Wow. Okay, so it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy.
To an extent, yes.
Mm-hmm.
But the flip side is powerful. If you consciously change that narrative, if you start thinking, maybe even saying aloud, my English is improving every single day, your brain starts looking for ways to make that true. It shifts focus. It motivates you.
That's a really actionable shift, not just wishing, but actively changing the thought. And what about mistakes? We touched on this, but how should we think about them?
We need a serious reframe here. Mistakes are not failures. Please, everyone listening, hear this. Mistakes are feedback. They are data points. They are proof you are trying, pushing your limits, learning.
So every mistake is actually a step forward.
Essentially, yes. It shows your brain exactly where it needs to adjust or strengthen a connection. It's vital information for the rewiring process. So instead of beating yourself up, think, okay, noted, brain learned something there.
I love that. Noted. Brain learned something. It takes the sting out, doesn't it?
It does. And this kinds into focusing on progress, not chasing some impossible standard of perfection. It is absolutely okay not to speak perfectly. What matters is that you are speaking, you are learning, you are improving. This shift makes the whole journey feel more enjoyable, less like a chore you're constantly failing at. And honestly, that positivity, it genuinely speeds up learning because your brain works best when it's focused on growth, not on fear of failure.
So clear. Changing your thoughts isn't just passive optimism. It's an active part of the rewiring strategy. Okay, let's supercharge this. What specific tools and techniques can help accelerate this brain rewiring?
Right, there are some great tools out there now that really leverage how the brain learns. First, language learning apps, Duolingo, Memrise, Babbel, those kinds. They're often really good because they make learning feel like a game, and many use something called spaced repetition.
Spaced repetition. Okay, I've heard that term. Can you quickly break down what that is and why it's good for our brains?
Sure. Basically, spaced repetition is a scheduling technique. The app shows you a word or phrase, then shows it again just before you're about to forget it. The intervals get longer each time, maybe a day, then 3 days, then a week. This forces your brain to work a little harder to retrieve the information each time, which dramatically strengthens the memory trace. It's super efficient for locking vocabulary into long-term memory.
Got it. Smart timing for maximum memory. Okay, what else?
Flashcards. Old school or digital, they still work. Apps like Anki or Quizlet are great digital options. The key, though, is how you use them. Don't just put the word and the translation. Always try to include an example sentence. Context is king for the brain. It helps you understand how the word is used, not just what it means. That builds much richer connections.
Context, right? Makes total sense. And you mentioned earlier about weaving English into daily life. What about more structured immersion?
Yes, immersive learning is powerful. It's about deliberately surrounding yourself with English as much as possible. We talk about podcasts and music, but also things like changing your phone language to English.
Ooh, brave, but effective, I bet.
Can be. Or change your GPS navigation voice to English. Watch English movies or TV. Maybe start with subtitles in your language, then English subtitles, then none. Follow social media accounts that post in English. It sort of tricks your brain into accepting English as just part of your normal environment. It starts picking things up almost subconsciously.
Nice. Any other specific techniques?
Shadowing is a fantastic one. This is where you listen to a native English speaker, maybe from a podcast or a video, and you repeat exactly what they say, as they say it, or right back after. Try to copy their pronunciation, their rhythm, their intonation. It's like practicing conversation, and it really trains your mouth and brain to produce more natural-sounding English.
Shadowing, I like that. It's very active.
Very active. And then there's guided practice-specific exercises like describing a picture, answering targeted questions, doing little role plays. These focus your brain on using specific structures or vocabulary. And one more, maybe surprising, mindfulness practices. Just taking a moment to pause, clear your mind, and really focus can actually improve your brain's ability to absorb and process new information, including language.
Interesting. So apps, flashcards with context, immersion, shadowing, guided practice, even a bit of mindfulness. Lots of tools in the toolbox.
Definitely. And the trick is to use them regularly and maybe mix them up. Your brain likes variety. It keeps things fresh and engaging.
Right. Okay, we're nearing the end here. Let's talk about motivation. Because learning a language, rewiring your brain, it can feel like a long haul. It's easy to feel overwhelmed or like progress is invisible. I know for me, when I was really trying to nail certain French sounds, that R sound just felt impossible. There were definitely days I thought, why bother? My brain just won't do it.
Oh, I think every language learner has hit that wall. I remember trying to get sentence structures right in a language I was learning and just feeling utterly incompetent some days. But that's where you have to circle back to that idea about mistakes, those moments of struggle. They are proof you can't do it. They're proof you're doing it. You're pushing the boundary. That struggle is the rewiring happening.
It's the feeling of the brain building the new road, like you said earlier.
Exactly. It's effortful. And we often put way too much pressure on ourselves for perfection right away. Especially with English, it's complex. Cut yourself some slack.
Yeah, absolutely. So how do you keep going when it feels tough?
The real anchor, I think, is remembering your why. Why did you start learning English in the first place? Was it for travel? A job? To connect with friends or family? Personal challenge? Keep that specific personal reason front and center. For me, wanting to truly understand different perspectives without a language filter was huge. That why pulled me through the tough spots.
Yeah.
And for everyone listening, please know you are not alone in this. These challenges are part of the process. But if you embrace that growth mindset, use these tools consistently, you will get there. Progress is progress, however small it feels day to day.
Beautifully put. Okay, so with all that amazing insight, let's crystallize this into a clear, actionable plan, something you, listening right now, can start doing today.
All right, action plan. Step 1. Set up a consistent daily practice routine. Seriously, daily. Pick at least 2 things from our list, maybe 15 minutes of listening, 15 minutes of speaking aloud. Make it a non-negotiable part of your day, like brushing your teeth.
Consistency is king. Got it. Step 2.
Actively manage your mindset. Catch those negative thoughts. Replace "I can't" with "I'm learning to" or "I'm getting better." Remind yourself daily, "I am making progress." It signals growth to your brain.
Positive self-talk is a tool.
Right.
Okay. Third.
Use the tools. Download a language app. Commit 10-15 minutes daily. Use flashcards, digital or paper, with example sentences. Review them regularly. Make the tools work for you.
Right. Don't just download the app, actually use it. Fourth point.
Mix it up. Keep your brain engaged with variety. Don't just use one app forever. Combine apps with reading, podcasts, videos, maybe writing. Novelty helps learning stick.
Variety keeps it interesting. And finally,
Find some accountability. Tell someone, a friend, family member, maybe find a language buddy about your goal. Just saying it out loud can help. And crucially, be kind to yourself. Miss a day, it happens. Just jump back in tomorrow. Consistency over perfection.
that's a fantastic, clear plan. So the core message here is that rewiring your brain for English, it's not magic, it's biology. And it's totally achievable with consistency, the right mindset, and using these tools.
Absolutely. Be patient with yourself, stay motivated by your why, and know that every little bit of practice, every new connection your brain makes, is bringing you closer. Which leads me to a final thought, a question for you listening. What one small, consistent habit can you commit to starting today, right now, to begin actively rewiring your brain for English?
Think about that. You've got this. Keep practicing, keep learning, and we'll catch you on the next deep dive.